Hello, hello, and welcome back, or welcome. I am Book Lover Lorna, and today we're going to be talking about Concrete Rose, which is Angie Thomas's new book. Now, this video is not going to be able to avoid spoilers of The Hate You Give. So, I mean, unless you want to know spoilers, then I wouldn't advise watching this video if you haven't already either read or watched the movie of The Hate You Give. But I am going to talk a little bit about this one first. But Concrete Rose came out very recently. When are we saying? I don't even know. Last week? Last week? I want to say last week. I've completely lost the concept of time. It's January, pandemic, don't know. The other day, I thought it was the 12th of January and it was actually the 17th. So, I mean, a 2 and a 7 is kind of similar, dyslexia, but yeah, I just have no idea what daytime, well, I don't even know who I am anymore. But essentially, this is the prequel to The Hate You Give. So The Hate You Give is like book 1, and this is like called book 0.5 or something like that. And I just really want there to be an in-between book. Like, I want to see the jump in between, and I know there won't because this is 0.5, but that would be super, super cool. So basically, The Hate You Give, so Angie Thomas's original book of this here, this has been made into a movie. It's amazing. I actually rewatched the movie just before I read Concrete Rose. It's a little bit emotional. Like, if you watch it, you know that you do get a little teary in places. So The Hate You Give is about Star Carter, and she is witness to her unarmed best friend getting killed by a police officer by gunshot. And it's an incredibly incredible story, really. Even though this particular story is fiction, obviously this kind of stuff happens an awful lot, particularly, you know, in America, which is where this is set. And basically we follow Star through, you know, the shooting when it happens, and then after that, and what happens to the police officer, what happens to Star and her family. There are like drug gangs, like that is a big part of the, not so much kind of the community, but kind of the area that they live in. Like they run that area essentially, like these drug gangs. So it's incredibly interesting to someone who doesn't really know an awful lot about this stuff. And like I say, even though this is fictional, things like this are, you know, they are happening right now. Yeah, so it's an incredibly strong book about race, justice, injustice, friendship, family, you know, everything that's going on in the world, and, you know, like I say, is going on right now. So this is an incredibly good book. I read this, when did I read this? I can tell you. Let's find out on my Goodreads, shall we, as to when I first read it. Okay, so my Goodreads says that I finished this book on the 19th of January 2019, so 2 years ago. I read this 2 years ago. So that would be why I had to watch the film, just to give myself a fresh reminder, even though I did remember it fairly well. And this book features Maverick. It's all about him. So Maverick Carter is Star's dad, who featured a lot in The Hate You Give. And it's essentially, it's before Star is even born, although this is just going to contain spoilers, essentially. It's kind of, I don't know how to not ruin this. So let me just kind of take some bits from the blurb. So this is 17 years before The Hate You Give. Maverick Carter's dad is a king lord. He's 17 years old and he's selling drugs because that's the only way that he knows how to make good money, you know, to look after his mum and to keep on top of everything and to still have, you know, nice things essentially. So obviously, you know, that's not ideal. Then he finds out that he is to be a father. So as we know from The Hate You Give, Maverick's first child, who's called Seven, his mum is actually Aisha. Now, not Lisa, who is Star's mum. And it's very interesting to read how that came about, which was quite nice. I did feel kind of like an insider I don't know, like I had the insider scoop when I was reading this, because it was very much like, oh, you know, going to get a DNA test, and I was thinking, oh, I know what the answer is, I know what the answer is, I know what it's going to be, because you've read The Hate You Give, and this is something that comes before. So that's very interesting to see how Maverick came to have a child with Aisha, and then his like beginnings of his relationship with Lisa, Star's mum. So that's really, really good. There are some really like emotional parts of this book, so I won't give it away, but there are some things where I was like, oh, like that hits you deep in the feels. It really does. So very emotional in parts, but still managed to make me laugh out loud. Like there are some, not obviously in the sad parts, duh, but there are some parts where I did do a little chuckle to myself. I'm not sure if it's whether because I knew some of the things that were coming because of my little insider scoop, or the fact it's a prequel and, you know, I've read the one that comes after it. But there were some bits where things were said or things were done and I was like, I know what's coming. And it was quite funny. I did like actually get quite a few laughs out of this book. You know, it's very serious, very emotional, but there was still some laughs. So, I mean, if any author can make you a little bit sad and also laugh, I think that's pretty impressive. I don't know. I mean, Angie Thomas is obviously some kind of god. Who knows? I don't know. So yeah, I did enjoy this book quite a lot. Now, what I will say is, and I put this on my Goodreads review actually, like disclaimer, warning, if you pick up this book, you won't be able to put it back down again and you'll just want to finish it. It's not very big. It's, what are we saying, 300 pages? Yeah, 320 pages. Now, I think I read this in 2 sittings, and that's only because really, like, I wanted to go to bed. And like, I'm not the kind of person who can stay up and read all night. If I could, then I would have stayed up and finished it, but I'm not, so I did not. It's one of those where you just want to know what happens next. At the end of each chapter, you're like, oh, I want to know. I want to know what's happening. Yeah, so if you do pick this up, you are going to want to finish it. So allot yourself some time to, this isn't, you know, going to be one of those ones that you can read over a few months. If you're like that kind of reader, you're going to want to read it a bit quicker. So yeah, I would definitely advise setting aside some time. And actually, I've just realised one thing I've not spoken about is the edition that I've got. Now, I pre-ordered this from Waterstones. I think this is the one where it was like 50 pence or a pound extra to have the special edition than to have the normal edition. So I was like, well, obviously, you know, it's pretty. I'm a sucker for sprayed edges. It's got sprayed edges, so that's what we've got. So this edition here, let me show you. I do actually really like the US edition, so the red one. I really, really like that, but we don't get that in the UK. We have Maverick's face, so it's a little bit different. But, you know, we take what we can get. So we've got Maverick's face with a special edition. You know, even though I do like the red cover. Never mind. So I've got Concrete Rose just along here. This is, actually I could take that off, but I won't. Will I? I don't know. If that's the sticker, I thought that was part of the book. That's the sticker that says Waterstones exclusive, includes bonus content. I can't speak. So you can see the blue from here and along here, along the side, and then we've got sprayed edges. And I'm not showing you very well because I keep putting you into the shadow. It's just beautiful. Like, it's so nice. I still haven't read On the Come Up. I was supposed to read that this month, but I've not. I don't know whether I'll get to it yet or not. We'll see. It might go into next month, but I still plan to read it. I just really wanted to read this as soon as it arrived. So yeah, this is super, super pretty edition. I'm absolutely in love with it. So this will be staying on my bookshelves. Now, I definitely recommend this book. I think it's a much more enjoyable experience if you've read The Hate You Give. So you don't necessarily have had to have read it. You could read this and then read The Hate You Give, but I personally thought that it was more, like I say, enjoyable. You got more laughs out of it. You felt like a little insider, you know, having read The Hate You Give first, or at least seen the film. But though I would always recommend reading the book rather than watching the film, obviously. But yeah, definitely recommend it. I gave this book 5 stars. So, I mean, that tells you that I really enjoyed it, because I don't give 5 stars to any random old books, only if I really enjoy it. That's why I think it's, because I enjoyed it so much, it's one of those it could have just sat and read in one sitting. My English is broken. My brain just stopped then. That is why I gave it 5 stars, you know, with the emotional, laughter, want to just sit and read it. I think those 3 things push it into that 5 star. And it's just so quick and easy. It's not, like I say, it's not particularly long. I don't think there's that many words on each page. It's not, you know, what's the word? Compact? It's not compacted. It's not compacted. That's the one. That's the one. So yeah, basically this has been me rambling about Concrete Rose. I like the name. When you read the book, you'll get it. And I think that's a brilliant name for this book. I think that is spot on, very good. Smashed it there, Angie Thomas. So in conclusion to my ramblings, I would recommend that you read this book. But read The Hate You Give first, because this is also awesome, and then this is really awesome. And I still do actually kind of think to read this one first and then this one, even though this one comes before this one. Yeah, that's just because I felt like it was such a greater experience reading it after this one. So yeah, I'm just repeating myself now. That's all I've got to say about Concrete Rose. Read it, enjoy it, love it. Let me know your thoughts. Has anyone actually read this already? If so, then, you know, have a chat with me down in the comments. Like, what do you think? What's your conclusions on this book? Have you enjoyed it as much as me? I hope you have, because I feel like everyone should enjoy this book. So let me know in the comment section, and please do not forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!